The Maine means to me life. The Maine means to me so much. Like, there's not enough things in this world that mean more to me than them. Their music means a lot to me, and they basically mean my happiness, I guess you could say. My favorite song by the Maine is Color, because Color is one of those songs that when you're having even the worst days, it just instantly makes you feel better. It's one of those songs that just makes me feel good about myself and makes me realize that things do get better. How often do I listen to the Maine? I listen to the Maine every single day. That's a good assumption. I don't know how often during the day, but every single day. I've seen the band live. I will have seen them 5 times this May. My experience seeing the Maine, it's always been a fun experience. A year ago today, actually, it was the first time I've ever seen the Maine. May 2nd, 2010 was my first show, and that was one of the best feelings ever, knowing that a band cared about me and my needs and my happiness, and all the people around me just made me feel good, because it was one of those things that you feel welcome. The overall vibe at a Maine show would probably be I'd say togetherness, like the vibe of feeling good and together, because everyone matters. Everyone. Doesn't matter if you're a mom, a dad, a little kid, an old man. It doesn't matter who you are. It matters that you're there. My favorite thing about seeing the Maine live is the music and the personal encounters. Just being able to talk to them and listen to their music, like some things I really appreciate. Like the simple things in life. Just being able to listen to a band that you love is probably one of the best, things around. Like, just going to a show and enjoying yourself. Yeah. How would you describe the fans of Maine? Crazy. These fans are really protective, like a lot of other fan bases, but they're also really catty and rude, I guess you would say. Yeah, rude. But in the end of the day, they're all a fan of the band for the same reason. And except for the girls that are just into the Maine for John, then yeah, we don't have the same reason to like the Maine, obviously. But yeah, that's... Describe the community. The community of Maine fans is kind of like the same person in multiple forms. Like, we're all like the same exact person, but different, because we're all unique in our own ways, you know? We're all here for different reasons, and we're all into the Maine for different reasons, and the community really comes together when something happens because we all care about this one thing. And at the end of the day, it's about caring for a certain band and caring about music in general. And so the community is really close and nice and homey, I guess. It makes me feel at home, for sure. Any other comments about fans? Because of the Maine, I've met my best friend, and I met her on the Maine's chat room, where I do spend a lot of time when I'm on the internet. I get to talk to other fans, share experiences, and I've become so close with this group of girls. And it's one of the best feelings knowing that you fit in somewhere. And that's because of the Maine. the fans care, and you just feel at home, like, especially especially with the other fans. Yeah, because my best friend is because of the Maine. And sorry for the pause. Hopefully you can edit that out. How did I find out about the Maine? Well, it was around 2008 that I first heard of the Maine. My sister had gotten their album, and she had started liking them. And I was like, oh yeah, they're good. But I never invested in, like, listening to them hardcore or anything, because I was still a Jonas Brothers fangirl. So, I was like, yeah, Jonas Brothers! Woohoo! And so, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, but what can you do? And then I didn't really start getting into the Maine until my sister wrote on my graduation card, on her graduation card, the lyrics to Into Your Arms, and that's when I went and looked around and snooped around, and I fell in love with this band. And that's how I heard of them. Talk briefly about each member. Let's start off with Pat. Pat means to me, like, he's kind of a brainiac and really awkward. I've had the pleasure of talking to him in chat before and in real life, and he's the funniest, weirdest person I think I've ever had the pleasure of talking to. One, because he's Pat. Two, because he threatened to kill my mom once. Yeah, that was kind of funny. And then he threatened to kill her houseplants, so what can you do? Yeah, Pat's an interesting person. John inspires me to want to do something. Like, I guess if you would have to say, like, who's my favorite member, it wouldn't be John, like normal people would think. But John is one of those people who inspires me to want to do something. He inspires me to want to be myself, be who I am, do what I love. And what I love is music and talking to people and just being there in general. And that's what his lyrics and what John has done for me. John means so much to me. He literally is probably one of my heroes. And I know that sounds really weird, but he's so intelligent and he's so poetic, and that's what John means to me. And Jared's the funniest person I think I've ever talked to. Jared's one of the nicest people I've ever talked to. He's so caring and genuine, and he's a sweetheart. I've also had the pleasure of talking to him on chat before. And he is just so sweet and doesn't treat you like a fan. He treats you like a friend, and I love that because I feel close to him and I feel like he cares, and I love that because he's just so caring and he's so funny and he's so nice. Like, I know that's so generic to say, but it's true. Like, Jared is just overall like one of the best people I think I've ever had the pleasure of talking to and meeting. And that's why I love Jared, and that's what Jared means to me. He means comfort and feeling a part of something, I guess you could say. Kennedy. Yeah, Kennedy. Kennedy has come on chat so many times, and he's done so much to make me laugh, and him overall as a person is fantastic. I don't think he has a mean bone in his body. But when he's around the chat girls, when he talks to the chat girls, he does. And it's funny, he's sassy, and Kennedy means, like, acceptance, I guess, because he accepted the chat girls into his life, and he doesn't care how mean we are to him. He just cares that we listen to his band and that we love his band, and basically Kennedy is just Kennedy. I have so many inside jokes with Kennedy and the other chat girls, and it's funny because he knows all these jokes and he likes to please us, but he doesn't like to because he knows it'll make us happy if he pleases us, and he doesn't like to do that, I don't think. But he's definitely one of the funniest people and one of the kindest, and yeah. And his mom's, we definitely hear a lot about his mom on chat. Does a lot of blaming, you know. What can you do? But Kennedy, to me, means a friend and an enemy. No, I'm just kidding. Kennedy is just, he's a good guy. Oh, Garrett. Ugh, this one's gonna take me a second. Garrett is one of the most quiet, I guess you could say. He's very quiet, and he's very sweet, and very funny, and very into his own things. And I think that's the best thing about Garrett. He's not afraid to be himself. He's not afraid, he doesn't want to please anyone. He wants to please himself. And that's what I want to do. I don't want to make you happy, I want to make me happy. And I think that's the best thing in life. Wanting to make yourself happy over wanting to make others happy. And Garrett is a fine example of that. One time, I was pretty low for a few months this past spring, like a year ago. And I wasn't feeling too awesome about myself. And during the summer I was just not feeling it. And one time Garrett was on Facebook, and I thought, why not? Why don't I just like spill my guts right here? Like, just for someone, like anyone, even if they don't listen or read it or whatever. And so I said that I was in the worst mood I've ever been in, and that still holds true today. And nothing was going right that day. And I said all this to Garrett, and I was like, I just need someone to talk to. And what he said sticks, is always, always in the back of my mind, and will always be in the back of my mind. It's the most generic and simple thing you'll ever hear, but it really meant a lot to me. He said, things get better. And that's my motto. Things do get better. I've seen it firsthand. And I think that's great that someone like him, who I look up to so much, so highly, I think so highly of him, that he said this to me, and I finally believe it. It just took someone that I look up to finally believe it. And now I believe it. And Garrett means happiness to me. He means better days and overall a good life. Because things happen, and we can't change our past. I don't want to change my past, ever. Because my past makes me who I am, and Garrett reminds me of that. So that's what Garrett means to me. I have met the Maine. I've met all of them 3 times, but I've met 4 of them 3 times, and John twice. And those experiences were amazing. Like, they were for like a few seconds, but they're some of the funniest people in person, and they're so kind to you, no matter what. They'll always be there to meet you and whatnot, and I don't really have good experiences, like, to share, but I've definitely met them a few times, and I appreciate meeting them, because they're so humble and so gracious of every single fan they have. And that's what makes them so great. As I've said before, John has inspired me into doing something. He's inspired me to basically write and do my own thing, and then Garrett's inspired me to feel better about myself, to know that there is a better horizon for me, to know that everything gets better, even if you don't believe it, because it's true. And they've all inspired me to want to be who I am today and who I want to be. The impact the Maine has had on my life is so big. To say that I wouldn't be here without them is a true statement. Their music has inspired me. Them as people have inspired me. Their fans have inspired me. And I definitely don't know where I would be without them. They mean a whole lot to me. They really, really do. If you had one chance to thank the Maine in person, what would you say? If I had one chance to thank the Maine in person, I would just say thank you for everything you've ever done for me. You may not know me, you may not care about me, but you really, really, really have done so much for me. You've made me feel better. You've made me want to be who I am today. You've made me grow closer with my siblings, and that's so much of a thank you. I don't think my brother, sister, and I would be friends right now if it weren't for you. You guys are the best group of people I think I've ever seen. And because of you, I have a best friend who cares about me and listens to me complain and moan. And with you guys, I thank you for making me a part of a family I've never been accepted into. And that's how much you mean to me. Thank you for everything, for my life, for music to guide me. Thank you for being you. Stay true to who you are.